you're going to take into it.
Yeah. No worries.
Psalms chapter 83, verse 6. It says here, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes.
Right, Moab, he's free, and you can see it's very, what's the word I'm looking for now? Because it's very distinctive now, because you're seeing these are the main people in the news today. You know, you got the Caucasian man, yeah, and you got the Arab man, and you got the Chinese man. These are the three nations what the Lord said he's gonna jack up. The main three. Then you got the Africans and whatnot, the others, but these are the main three. Yeah? You know? And these are the people who hate the Israelites. It's like the brother said, what nation doesn't have our spoils? When you read it in the Kings and whatnot, and you read the stories in the Bible, the other nations have taken us into captivity. Babylonians, Assyrians and whatnot, so forth and so on.
Gebal and Ammon and Amalek.
Gebal and Amalek. Amalek are the same people that we just explained to those young lady and young man. They are the so-called Jewish people today. They're the head honcho of the Edomites. Everyone's got a head nation. Now, our head nation is Judah, the head tribe. Their one is Amalek. The Caucasians, the Edomites, is Amalek. That's the head of their tribe. Yeah? The so-called Rothschilds, the DuPonts, Gettys, Oppenheimers, those guys, the banking families, the rich Edomites, the Bill Gates and all those, and the Bloomberg and all those guys. They're the Amalekites. You know?
Gebal and Ammon and Amalek. Yeah. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Salah.
You know?
Do unto them, unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, as at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor, they became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb, like Zeab, yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession, or my power, make them like a wheel, as a stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Yahweh. Let them be confounded and troubled forever, yea, let them be put to shame and perish. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahushai, or is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth.
Right, so
that's 83 complete, no?
Is it complete, yeah?
Right, that's basically David, that's David setting up a prayer for what is it called? For the Lord Yahweh to judge the heathen that do not know him, for them to reference Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, because all these heathen nations, they all work together to keep the Israelite man, woman, and child down in some way, shape, form, or another. Okay, there's not one that has escaped from either benefiting from some way of the the degradation of the Israelite man, woman, and child. Okay, so obviously they will all be judged accordingly. Okay, not one shall escape. It says
none shall escape. That's what it says.
Oh. It says here. Okay, jumping back to Matthew. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24.
Jesucristo negro, no blanco. Blanco diablo. Yeah?
Yeah, you can tell them.
Yeah.
Because they did have like a little Asian look to them, but they don't because their head is not like, they're not like a flat face Moab, right? They're not like that.
Yeah,
you know?
You can see that there.
Yeah. The brethren, you get me? Like,
they don't know who they are.
Yeah. It says here, Matthew chapter 24, verse 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
You see that in the world today. You know what I mean? There's a lot of betrayals and they're offended and they hate each other. You know?
Yeah, like brothers not continuing the work. That's betrayal. You not just by the people that you've been doing the work with, but by Yahweh Hashem, which just your what's the word called? Putting them back on the cross aforetime. So that's betrayal.
Yeah, but like he said, many called but few are chosen. Yeah. So we can't do anything about that. You know?
It says here, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. As we read in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, where it says, those that shall be saved through their works, and what is it, and their faith, okay, that shall endure unto the end. It says here, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Right, so that's what happened. Now we get to preach throughout the whole we've got internet now. You see Paul, he had to travel on ships, you know? Travel around to Tarshish and Cappadocia and all these places. But we got the internet now, just like the buddy's got a camera, put it on the internet, it travels all the way. And that's how we found out about the word. Because we saw it on the internet. And then we said, wait a minute, we could do this because we had the Spirit of the Lord in us. Yeah? And these people on bikes, they just got no kind of, they think everybody should just, conform to how they want, you know? That's why when I see them laying in the road, I have a little laugh at them, bicycles, you know? Read on a bit, just jump off the thing there.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in a holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
Right, we saw that. The Romans went up in the temple and stole all the Lord's godly pleasant things, you know? Desolation, the farm, they put swine on there and all that old madness on the altar. Yeah, so that was defiling. But really, they're just setting up their own demise by doing them things. Because the Lord ain't going to stand for that, as you can see. This world is going to pass away with a great noise. And reel to and fro like a drunkard when the missiles and the fuel of fire ravages this old man society. Yeah? It's going to get them to buck up the two Edomites, the Egyptians against the Egyptians. That's why we know when he says that it's not. There's no way in history that Egyptians fought Egyptians, ancient Egyptians. I was talking about modern day Egyptians. If you look on the dollar bill, they've got pyramids. The modern day Egyptians are the Edomites. Yeah? And he calls them Sodom and Gomorrah, he calls them Ninevites, he calls them all these different names. But they are the ones he's focused on, because why? They're the ones ruling in the end times. They're going to be the last ruling kingdom before the one that Jesus Christ comes back.
When your whole show returns, because it's things that coming from, where is it?
Yeah, from
Basra. So they're obviously going to be, you know, otherwise they would have said from, what's the word?
Elam or from
Shinar.
So when the Lord comes, he's coming from their place. You understand? That's the only nation that the Bible says is not going to be, that is not going to get any mercy. He's not going to show any mercy to the Edomites.
It says here, Matthew chapter 24, verse 16. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
And that happened. Vespasian, Titus, Domitian, when they besieged Jerusalem, they had to flee into the dark nations like Africa, into Egypt. You know, a lot of us escaped, but a lot of us was caught in Jerusalem and fled into the Sodom. They starved us out. Right?
You know? Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Right.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
And that's basically saying that when you flee, don't come back. Because if you come back, you're going to be dead. Let no man, don't come back, that's what the Lord's saying. And what did he say? He's kicked us out of our place now. So, we can only return when the Lord puts us back. That goes back to Isaiah 11 and 11, when he puts us back. So then people calling themselves Israelis can't be the people. That's not prophetic. The prophetic scriptures say that the Lord is going to put the Israelites back in their own land.
It says here, it says here, and woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days.
Yeah, saying the ones with women with children. Woe to them, he says in that day. That means destruction, because just like they're showing in movies when the baby's crying and whatnot, and they wanted to shush. And Tom Cruise's one, when the baby was crying, the woman suffocated it because she wanted to keep it quiet, because those creatures was coming. And because of the baby, she had to put the hand over the mouth, she suffocated and killed the baby. That's what we're saying, woe to women, because they're going to be mourning. Because their baby's going to be cannon fodder. They're going to be cannon fodder. And the last thing you're going to need is something holding you up when you've got to flee. You know?
It says here, but pray ye that your flight be not in the winter.
Right, so he's saying, when you're escaping to someone, pray that it's like a day like this, sunny day, so you can sleep outside. You know what I mean? Because if it's winter, you got to find some shelter, you got to find some firewood to keep warm.
And or neither on the Sabbath day.
Or neither on the Sabbath day. Right?
For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not seen since the beginning of the world. Such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time.
Right.
No, nor ever
trouble.
shall be.
World War III, World War II was troublesome, but he's saying this day is going to be terrible. It's going to be worse than that. Yeah? Because why? There's going to be anarchy, total breakdown of society, cannibalism. You know? These things are going to be occurring. Pestilence, wars. Is there any more?
It says, and except those days should be shortened.
Except the days shall be short. When I was saying that the other day, I was with one of my brothers, and he was talking about, man, look at the time, it's already 10 o'clock. And I said, yeah, bro. Just remember, the Lord is making the time short, because, what did he say? If I don't shorten it, there'll be no flesh to save. So he's speeding up time. Yeah? The days are short now. What's the time now? It's probably, what? Let's have a look. Come out here what time? It's 4 o'clock now. Yeah? Time's flying. In a couple of minutes it'll be like 5 o'clock. In a couple of minutes it'll be 5 o'clock. That's how it look like, isn't it? It look like a couple of minutes.
Well, to the Lord, basically.
Yeah, we told that. We told you said that in 2 Kings 3:8.
Yeah.
One team with the Most High, one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years one day. Yeah. But he's speeding it up. He's speeding up our time. So that's why even people in the world say, time's flying. Yeah. So even they're seeing it, and they ain't got a spiritual eye. You know? Read on.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Except those days shall be shortened, there's going to be no flesh. That's what it says. There's going to be no flesh to save. He has to shorten the days. Because the way this man's poisoning the earth, you know, he's got birds falling out of the sky, he's got whales beaching themselves, he's polluting the earth. This is what he was created to be, the devil on the earth. He's a destructive man. That's all he knows how to do, is take life. Yeah? He's not good at preserving life, he's good at taking life, killing things. This is who he is. He's the harbinger of death. That's what the Bible says. Everywhere he goes, he brings death. Yeah? Is that it, Rita?
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Right, for the elect's sake. Who's the elect? Romans 3 and 3. 3 or 3 and 9. For the elect's sake. That's Romans 11 chapter. I'm sure it's 11 and 3. Let's see.
11:7. Romans chapter 11 verse 7. What then? Israel not have obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded.
Right, so the election, that's what we're saying there, the elect are the ones that the Most High has opened up their minds to the Bible. Because there's people that pick up the Bible and they just don't understand it. Because they don't know how to read the Bible. The Bible tells you how to read the Bible. Isaiah 28 and 1, Psalms 119, 104 tells you how to read the Bible by the precepts. You've got to go here, there, a little bit, and over there. Put the puzzle together. And these Edomites, they don't understand that, and they got their ministries ministering the wrong doctrine, telling that, oh, God loves everyone, the church, the supersessionism, that God loves everyone. That's all garbage. You can never find that in the Bible. These are all fables and philosophies of men, especially the Edomite men. They're the ones who are the power of the earth, so they're the ones who are administering all these fables and false doctrines. You know?
So see, and if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is the anointed, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before, wherefore if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth, behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
Right, and that's talking about the war, the nuclear war. We're talking about the earth shall be shaken. Like we explained this, the earth will real to and fro like a drunkard. You're going to knock everything out of sync. That's what the Most High is talking about. You're going to knock this man's society side to side. Right? It's all because of the Israelites. Really. Because he said, I'm going to bring them down there to the valley of Jehoshaphat to judge them for your sakes. So the Edomites don't really stand a chance. They think, well, nothing ain't happened to us, but we continue forever. No, we're coming, and now they can see it in their spirit that there's something happening. This massive awakening of the Most High, because their society now is not running as it's not solidified as it was before. There's interruptions, Rona, war, another disease, war, you know? And now the ultimate, you've got the Edomite. It's beautiful watching the ultimate now. You've got the Edomite against the Edomite. This is beautiful. Like two warring nations. But the actual warring nations, the man of war is fighting the man of war now. You know? Edomites are fighting each other. This is what we was waiting for. Nobody could defeat the Edomite because his weapons, and the Chinese man, none of these. Well, the Chinese man probably can put up a good fight now because what he's done is waited his time. You know? And now he's got weaponry. Now they're saying that the Chinese now are going to surpass the Americans with warships and everybody now is trying to make friends with the Chinese, believing that they're going to be the people up next. Yeah. So everybody's learning Cantonese and Mandarin, thinking that, oh yeah, everyone's going to learn Chinese. The Chinese are going into captivity with the Edomites, with the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, and so forth and so on. Everyone's going into captivity under the Israelites. You know?
So see. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light,
Right.
and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
Right.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with
Right,
power.
why is they talk about when Jesus comes, everybody's going to celebrate? Don't say that.
And great
He said
glory.
all the nations are going to mourn. Why? Because when he comes, he says, what would I already kindle? There's going to be war, famines, death and destruction. And he's going to round it off, top it up with his fire. He tells you he's going to blast the earth with fire, with his laser beams. He's going to, what did he say? He's going to tread the wine press.
Alone.
Yeah.
I've tread the wine
He's
press
going to
alone.
tread these people. The crackers, mainly the Edomites, go to death. You know what I mean? Why? Because he's beloved, the Israelites. Any more on that?
Yeah, and he shall send his angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other.
Right, so get to Isaiah 11 and 11, start at the top.
There is a little bit more meat.
Yeah, no, we can go back to it. Just said, so let's show you what he's talking about.
The book of Isaiah chapter 11 verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse which shall stand for an ensign of the people, to which shall the Gentiles seek.
Right, and that's talking about Yahushua. That's the root of Jesse. It's out of his lineage come Yahushua. Yeah.
And his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand against the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam, from Shinar and from Hamath and from the highlands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel.
Right, that's what it's about, the outcasts of Israel. That's who is in a gather. The Israelites. Because they've been scattered. You're speaking to them, that young boy and girl. The Israelites have been scattered from about all the nations. So this is not a black and white thing. This is an Israelite thing.
Yeah, lineage.
This is a nationality.
Yeah. Like the British nation knows no colour now, because it's not about the complexion of the skin.
It's about your lineage. Your father's father.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Right, dispersed of Judah. So he said Israel and Judah, that's northern and southern kingdom. Because he scattered us. The first people to go into slavery was the northern kingdom. It was taken to Seville, Spain, when Cristobal Columbus and went over to the northern kingdom and took them back to Spain. Yeah? And then the southern kingdom, when the crackers then went to Negroes, took them to the Americans. That's the well known is the transatlantic slave trade. And then you have the trans-Saharan and the Arabs. That one is not really talked about, but the Arabs are going to get foot in the arse for that as well. Like I said, because they treated us worse than the so-called crackers. At least the crackers never cut our rods. Well, they did, but it was a known thing the Arabs done, was cut the rods off of the black so-called Israelite land and had our women as just slave, sex slaves. And these were Israelite women. White men are just breeding farms and whatnot. I know you don't. I read on.
Says here, Isaiah chapter 11 verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. The envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. Ephraim shall not envy Judah, and Judah shall not vex Ephraim. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. They shall spoil them with the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them.
Read that last part again.
40. They shall not vex them.
No, it shall lay their hands upon Edom.
Isaiah chapter 11 verse 14. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. That's the nation going to come together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them.
Okay. So there's two of the nations there. What was in Psalms 83. Edom and Moab, and he mentioned Ammon as
And the Philip.
Yeah, and the Philip, yeah, he said
Because to fly up on someone's shoulder is to put them down, isn't it? You're going to smother someone, yeah. Like you're going to jump on, man, you get me? Like, it says, it says here, and the Lord Yahweh shall utterly destroy the tongue of the Egyptian sea, and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it even in the 7 streams, and make men go over dry shod. And there shall be an highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Israel in the day that he came up out of the land of Egypt.
Right, so it's talking about that second recovery. You know? And this is future prophecy. We ain't had this yet. So the Bible talks about past tense and future tense, and that's future tense. Get Isaiah 14 chapter and start from the top. Is that finished?
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 50, it's like chapter 14 verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh shall have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land.
He's discussing the land as Jerusalem, or is Jerusalem. But right now we've got these phony, these fakes living in our land. You know?
And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
So we're going to take them and bring them to our place. We're going to ask them, we're going to take them. Same way they took us. Where did they take us from? The coast of Africa to the continent of the Americas.
Yeah, from Europe as well. Because we went from Europe to the west of Africa to
the triangle shape. So they took us from Africa to Europe to land. Remember, we had Fort Judah, Fort Benjamin, and whatnot in Africa. That's what we had. The top of the continent. So they took us from these places. Because we fled into Africa.
See that red book? King James on Friday, part 4, was it?
Lee Cummings.
Yeah, Negro Question part 4, it says that they recognise where they met up with the brethren from the West. Because they obviously they looked the same and they spoke because they Hebrew. Like, cause even though we ruled Europe, we could speak Hebrew. That's how he was able to get the translation. Remember the king was able to get the translation. So we was able to speak to each other on the ships. To know where we came from.
Right.
So it was like we came from Europe and they came from the coast. So we met up on the ship and then was taken to America. And so, it says here, Isaiah chapter 14, continuing, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
Take them and bring them to Jerusalem.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
Same way.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
Right, so they will rule over our oppressors. People that are today still oppressing us. Pressure from beneath, pressure from above. It's like pressing, you know? When you press, it's like resistance. You have some resistance, but it's hard because you're being pressed from both top and bottom. So there's no, when you say that your soles of your feet shall get no rest, you know what I mean? That's one of the curses as well.
It shall come to pass in the day that the Lord Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve.
And that's what we're waiting for, because this ain't our land. We're not supposed to be around these things. We're supposed to be ruling over them, telling them what to do. And that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the hard bondage to be, well, it's not as rigorous as it was before, because he said the Lord is going to take the spirit off the cattle. So hard. Because the tables are going to turn. Because we're going to be hard with them. You know, it says that we're going to give them some rigorous jobs to do. Hardship is going to come upon them. You know? Because he said that no mercy.
He's a fake Falasha Jew in that car, you see him?
Dirty bastards.
Says here. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased?
And that's what we're waiting for now. When this world war kicks off, this golden city they called America, where all these nations, they want to go there and live the American dream. And now it's a nightmare. They've got tent cities. Yeah? How is the oppressor ceased? This society's falling apart. Because how is this society built off of lies, thievery, murder? Yeah. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. Yeah? That's the name. Yeah? That's how his town was built, with blood. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah? You know?
Says here. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked.
And how's the staff? The rulership, the staff and the scepter is the Caucasians. He's breaking them down. How? Because he's putting the Egyptian against the Egyptian. That's the only way he could do it. Because his blessing was the sword. He couldn't put no other nation to break the Egyptian down. So he's got them fighting each other now. Yeah, read on.
The Lord hath broken off the staff of the wicked.
Broken the staff of the wicked.
And the scepter of the rulers.
Right.
He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindereth.
Right, so this is the Caucasians' future prophecy about this. They are going to be subjugated by all the nations are waiting for when this man comes down. So they can start to beat the shit out of him.
Probably doing it.
Yes, yeah, that's what it looks like. It's taking from the vibe of the heart. So that Bati, sugar.
It says here.
Sodomite. We know the Sodomites anyway, so nothing to do with that.
So it says here. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. When the workman goes into captivity, the Caucasian, the Elamite, the whole earth is going to be at rest.
And quiet.
Yeah, and quiet, because pride, when they're in power, they're a warring nation, you know? The Edomites, because what is the man, God? A man of war. So he made the Edomites that same way. Because he got his whooping stick, we read it in Psalms 17 and, what was it, 13? He's got a whooping stick. So they're the equivalent of being someone's pit bull. He set up the Caucasians as his pit bull, you know? You know?
The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go, all right, they sir, good journey, weather. Got your factor 50 on?
My factor 50?
Yeah.
I'm okay actually. I don't.
You don't burn?
No.
Oh, that's all right.
I don't get stung by mosquitoes either.
Okay. That's a good trait. Right.
It's a positive.
Yeah. There's a malignant melanoma.
Yeah, the skin bit.
Yeah. Not nice that is it?
You guys get it.
Will you get it?
Guys,
You get
the
that?
skin. You get it really bad from the sun sometimes.
Do we? I don't know about that. I thought this is melanoma. I thought this was a, what do they call this again?
That's
a coating. It's like the coating from. So what are you talking about?
I thought you guys
natural sunshine.
whatever, like they have problems with the sun as well.
I have no problem with it. Remember, we work from can't see in the morning to can't see at night in the sun. Picking cotton and whatnot. So obviously, it's done nothing to us. I don't know where you got your research from.
Darwin's doing this.
What's you say? That was kind of funny. Great stuff from it.
That's what I do. I just double take it.
I don't think so, mate. Lord sprayed us with a very lovely painting. So it's so good.
I know. With a fine finish. What's the word? Rough. Because the Hamites, they have like a
rusty. It's like a dull silver like colour.
like it's rusty.
Yeah, like a dusty. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't shine. You know what I mean?
Even if they're creamy, don't
Yeah, they don't. It's got like a dusty kind of.
I'm on one bar. It says here, Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellow has come up against us.
Right, so no man is cutting down the trees. But what's this man known for? Just total anarchy. You know, anywhere he goes, like the rainforest in Brazil, why can't you leave it alone? They're cutting their logging, cutting them down. And that is very vital for the ecosystem of Brazil. You know? And that's why the Lord said, you know what, I've got to get rid of this man, for real. Because all he does is just bring catastrophe and just bring a whole unwelcome circumstance, you know? And that's why he's got a dispensation of time, anyway. Otherwise he said, no flesh. Nothing will be saved if this man continues to rule, you know? He's dead.
Yeah, no flesh shall be saved. Because he will kill himself and everyone else.
Yeah. Remember the thing? Planet of the Apes? He is there, we have the scroll in there. He said, this man will not only destroy his
kingdom,
yeah, he will destroy everything. Yeah.
Self-destruct, yeah. That's why in the movies they have the self-destruct button, innit?
Yeah.
They run to it, innit? Or they have a gun. What's the movie I watched and he goes, there's 6 bullets in there. Where is it?
And the 7th one.
No, he goes, there's six in there, 5 for whatever, and it's run for yourself.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
obviously they had to
yeah,
leave
if they
them,
get
whatever.
caught, they blow themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, that's what it's
He's not, you know what, he's a man that's not ready, he's not willing to be, what's the word I'm looking for? He's not willing to be judged. You see what I mean? He'd rather do himself than be judged. Yeah.
He is the what's the word called? A fugitive, isn't it?
And the vagabond.
And the vagabond.
Yeah.
And
That's what he says. Yeah.
by the sword shall he live. It says here, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. They have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they that
Still about all the other nations, right? He's raised them up for what purpose?
to judge them. It says here, all they that speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?
And that's what they're saying now. The North Koreans are saying that, what, are you weak like us now? Well, you have to come and sit at the table and negotiate. They didn't do it with Colonel Gaddafi, and they did it with Saddam Hussein. Why? Because they didn't have that whooping stick, the nuclear bomb. Yeah, once they get that nuclear thing, then they want to talk to you. Because they like to kill and go home and
Have the missus.
have the missus and pick up the little children. You know? They're not about execute
Righteous judgment, retribution, showing mercy.
No, they're not about when someone is not willing,
Taking prisoners.
he's not scared to die. You know, like
Like Valiant, he hasn't got that.
yeah, he's not like that. Yeah, he's not like a man that would say like, right, I'm gonna, if I have to die for my family, I'm good. He's not like that. He wants to kill and come home to his family. Yeah. He's not honourable, man. He's not really an honourable man. He told you that.
It says here, thy pomp is brought down to the grave.
Right, that's their pride. The pomp is your pride. It's brought down to your lowest state. Yeah?
And the noise of thy voice. The worm is spread under thee.
Yeah, that's your money system. The worm, the canker worm, is eating away your society.
And the worms cover thee.
Yeah, and the worms. That's what we're talking about. Look at their bridges. They were built for 50 years and now they replenished them and now they're falling apart. That's that worm under their society. Eating away at their society. Exactly.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Right, how they're falling from heaven is that rulership. I was discussing with a chap the other day that there's loads of, there's 3 heavens. There's heavens where the birds fly, and there's heavens, the outer heavens where the Most High dwells, and there's rulership. There's rulership, heaven is a rulership. So he's saying, how art thou fallen from your rulership? How are you fallen? You know?
It says here, how art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations?
Right, and now you weaken them by bombing them, by colonizing them, and subjugating them, and sleeping with their women. Because what do they say? When you take down a nation, they say you take the booty. And what is the booty? The riches, the women, and the children. That's what they call booty. And that's what they've done to us. They've got the women and children when they put us in slavery. The women, they raped. Yeah? The women they raped. And the children they used as slaves. Free labor. Yeah, and the men as well. You read them?
So see.
The way he cut in there was sharp.
Yeah, it was like
literally.
I thought he was going to touch the
He knew his car well, bro. He cut him like that.
Well, you saw that when you got there?
Yeah, did you see where he turned? I thought he was going to lick that. Where he turned.
So see.
That's what your mother done.
Yeah, well, man, I wasn't going to get that colour, man. I think I'm glad I got that. Yeah. So see. You see on that colour, but...
No, your one.
Oh, no, no. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven and will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
He said, how did he exalt into heaven? Through space race. He done it. He did do that. You know? Russia and America in the space race. Sputnik and the other one. And their what they call their what were they called? What's his name? The Americans had their, what was their space shuttles called? Russia had Sputnik, but the Americans had their, I can't remember what it's called. I can't read it.
Something force or something.
Not the space force, but they had something prior to that. You know what they called the actual shuttles? They were named Shuttle 1, 2, and the building something.
Thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven and will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Right, now they do that, like the Israelites. That's how they exalted themselves. Like the stars of the Israelites. It tells you that the tail struck the third part of the stars in Judah, Benjamin, and Levi when he was in Judea. Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Right, got that way from?
Oh, Nigeria.
Oh, so what, Igbo, Yoruba?
Yoruba.
Oh, so Yoruba go back to the Hebrews. Did you know that?
Yeah, we're the progenitors.
Right, you know the tribe of Judah. You're from the same tribe that the one that Jesus Christ come from? You are Judites.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I think I was born in a so-called Jewish hospital.
Jewish hospital?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're doing it with non-Jews.
I know.
Right. No, so what we're trying to establish is that you're an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. So it's imperative.
In Nigeria, there's a language, if you put like Hebrew next to some Nigerian languages, they're very similar.
Right.
Yeah. So they got their language from Africa.
From the Hebrew, not really from Africa. So we fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution. Okay, we fled to hide amongst the dark places.
Okay, so you're talking about 500 BC around there?
Yeah, around the time of Vespasian and Titus, the mission.
Okay.
You know about the Sada? When the Romans besieged us? They starved us out?
No, I only really know more. I know more about from like say 10,000 BC, like 40,000 BC. Like, so for me, the contemporary religions are all contemporary. I'm about before any religious book came to Africa. Before all of that, we already had a relationship with the Creator. You know?
What's his name?
What's his name? It's not. It's more like. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the main thing.
Get hold on. Let me read the Bible. Get Proverbs 30 and 4.
You never see this one. You're always referring back to a book, back to a Bible. I'm talking about before.
How would you know? How would you know? How did you know about what you're talking about?
Well, because things are passed down through word of mouth.
So they didn't have it already written down as well. You never written down as well.
No, we have things.
So it's written down and it's rubber stuff. That's how the Most High is. Read that.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 30, verse 4. Whoever ascended up into heaven, or descended, who have gathered the wind in his fist, or who have round the waters in the garment.
We hold it there. So you have a relationship with the one you call God. You have a relationship with him? So
You have established all the ends of the earth. What is his name and what is his son's name? Thou canst tell.
can you tell?
What is his name?
And what is his son's name? Does your God have a son?
I'm talking about when there was void. I'm talking about when the universe came into existence. That's what I'm talking about.
How was that? By the Big Bang? How was that?
Yeah, they talk about like a projection of consciousness through time and space.
And that's how it was
Big Bang.
created.
Scientifically,
Get the Hebrews.
scientifically, I think. And then what they did, they made a book called the Genesis, which basically tries to explain that. You know, but what Genesis is kind of explaining is like creating. They're just putting it in. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you what I think.
No. That's why we tell you what the Bible thinks, because the Bible's true. The Bible says, what did Peter say to his apostles? Acts 5:29, let God be true and every man a liar. Yeah? Because who are we? We're nobody.
Yeah, no, but you see, that's why I said I might not be. So I'm not quite. I'm not like
that's
this is what this.
That's why you say I'm not talking out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm reading God's word.
Yeah, but who wrote that?
I'll tell you what, hold that and get
Who wrote that and how has it
get
changed?
Deuteronomy 9 and 10. We're going to see. It's all in the Bible.
Yeah, but you see, the thing, because you keep on, every time you go back to the Bible, in my head I think, okay, this is a book which has been written. The one that's distributed over the world has had passages left out. Then there's a new one.
Prove it.
That
The
apparently
Bible says prove all things. So you saying that I need proof.
Okay, so
What's left out? Show me. Prove it. Read that first. Is the book? Have you got a phone on you?
what's the
Have you got the Bible on you?
Yeah, no, what's the difference? I haven't got the Bible here. What's the difference between the Old? What's the difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament?
Kala Yambashim Shai, I'm honest to the elders apostle Graham of Great Millstone. That is with us well. Salutations to the Archbishop experience of Syrian truth. The battery's gonna so we're gonna close up. Shalom, Kwame Sharala.
The Old Testament, because the New Testament hadn't happened. See? And when it was,